it's really important for the public to be able to connect with the public art program and with public art throughout the city because public art is really supposed to be that entry point for people who maybe don't have access to art in different ways. So if you might not necessarily be a person who goes to an art gallery or has access to an art gallery, but you might have access to public art that's in your neighborhood or that's along your commute. And so I think it's really important for people to be able to see art throughout their daily lives and connect with it in different ways.
It's a way of bringing art to that ultimate democratic place of here we are, you're a part of the society, we're all here, and we're going to show you different voices, we're going to express different things and share in our city here together. It reflects our identity, it reflects who we see, who is missing. That's a big part of it, whose voices are not reflected here. I think it's an important part of creating a sense of place and belonging in a city that people may not even be able to articulate, but somehow it can start to come into their consciousness even if they're not in the art world. You know, there are iconic pieces that become a story about that city eventually over time, right? And people may love them or hate them, or they might start with hating and move towards, actually it's growing on me. This is part of, that touch point where we talk about what is art, and it can be extremely political, very, very controversial. And that's why I think it's very important in my role to center the public within public art.
What one person considers art, another person may not. And again, it speaks to everyone differently. And there are pieces that people really love, and there are pieces that people really don't prefer. And public art is about engagement and sparking the conversation, that sense of creativity. Like, you can look at a piece and just feel sparked. Like, you want to go home and do something creative yourself. And it's just about enlivening a space, building that spirit, bringing us all together into a creative conversation.
Well, I mean, it's really being a participating member of the community and being able to show that art is important, that it's all around us at all times, that it is digestible for anyone in the community, and that it can speak to history, to community, to cultures, and bridging cultural gaps, and all sorts of other great things. And really it's helping to build more culture, because everything that we call culture is really from art and from creativity, and things that we take for granted that are artistic. We don't call it that sometimes, but it actually is. And TV, all these things, a lot of people who don't like to give art and art making credit forget these things.
It isn't always about the built structure. It isn't always about um, a, a statue or a mural, although those are in the realm, they're accessible, they're easy to see. And I think that's really why I'm so keen and excited for Calgary Arts Development to be a part of um, impacting Calgarians through public art, because we get the great honor and privilege of being surrounded by artists who see our communities and our cities through this set of lenses that is extraordinary and that I think connects us.
To be able to see something more outside of galleries has been very important for us as artists and just everyday people, because it makes the city fun and it gets people involved and it makes that Friday night walking around downtown feel safer. It's all these subtle things that urban planners have figured out, and that's why the people continually invest in it. And as artists, I'm just happy that our voice fits in that conversation.
Art is really important because it helps shake people out of their day to day. It helps you interpret your surroundings in a different way. It adds excitement, vibrancy to the city that you're in. And I think really art is a gateway into being able to have really difficult conversations or to be able to talk about issues that are facing our day-to-day lives or that are facing our society in a new and interesting way. Art also brings new perspectives to the table and allows people to kind of come together around a conversation topic.
I mean, public art is important for a lot of reasons. Um, all art is important, of course, but public art is important because it does create, it creates conversations in your community. It allows a shared experience among community members. It makes life more bearable, right? You don't want to go outside and not see art. You don't want to go anywhere and not see art. In my mind, some people are content maybe not seeing art. But I think if they saw it, they'd be like, "Oh, why don't I get more art?" Um, Public art uh is important because there is like a cultural experience attached. It is a way for people to share stories and narratives. It's a way to share history and make history. Um, it's a way to help make sense of like the world around you. I could go on. I mean, public art is very crucial. I think that I can't imagine meeting somebody who doesn't have some kind of attachment to public art or some kind of core memory evoked when they think of past public art that they've seen. And I think like, that's like a really rewarding part about working in public art is like having those people come up to you and be like, oh, this piece meant a lot to me. Or like, I mean, when I did this city banner program that was during COVID, and I would get messages of being like, oh, like this like really helped me during like a dark time. This was really great to see on my morning walk. I didn't have a lot of, human connection then, but I could do my runs in the morning and I could see your work. Teachers have messaged me then and said, "Oh, I was able to take my kids out to see the work, and we were able to have conversations about them and talk about them." And that meant a lot. And again, with the Chinatown pieces, um, so far all of the reactions have been like overwhelmingly positive, and people from the communities that it's speaking to have talked to me like, oh, I understood it right away. I think it's like it really spoke to them, and people that are not from those communities as well have approached me as well, and said that in ways it was really important to them as well.
I guess okay to dream about these big projects that in your head seem super cool, and then seeing it come to life is such a fantastic lived experience that it gets shared with everyone. And that's what we love about public art is that everybody has access to it. People walking down the street, like when we're painting, people are just yelling at us. They're like,
So
"Great
good.
job!
Yeah,
We
it was
love it.
so
Tell us
great."
about it."
Yeah.
And we're just on the lift painting and listening to music.
Yeah.
And so I think it's something that lots of artists can have different levels of the small case of public art to larger pieces. So uh, it's a really great way or another way for artists to have their work experienced.
I think for every artist to get a chance to experiment such stuff, such activity helps a lot to widen the horizon and also to have different perspective or understanding of arts in general. And when I paint my feeling for my like mostly the art I do serves my purpose mostly because it's all my input only. But when I do public art, it also reflects other people's opinions, and it shapes the art different way. So I like that process. I like it.
I just think it's really important that art is not only like relegated to rooms inside buildings. I think that it's often hard to get to a point where you can see artwork, and having artwork brought to you as the person just walking outside, going to work is something that's super enriching in daily life. And I think that the more of that that is available, the better. And especially because it's such a different medium and such different concepts and pieces than what you would see inside a gallery. And I think rightfully so. I think that it should be something different than what is inside of a building or behind walls, because you should be able to, somewhat interpret it as a common person or feel something or really connect with it. And being able to see that outside just randomly is incredibly enriching.
Because public art, as people go through their day, it shapes public perception, and public perception shapes policy. So, in some way, public art plays a very important role in the way we perceive ourselves.
When a physical artwork is created in public space, I think it offers the opportunity for continuous celebration and for continuous activation of that work. And so, depending on the theme of the artwork or the intent of the artwork, you now, by putting that artwork in a space, you now have the opportunity to bring people together around it.
And there's a fun word for it landscape architects use is a genus loci. So the spirit of the place, the atmosphere, and public art really, it's engaging for the community. It speaks to so many different people in so many different ways. And that engagement, it helps you identify with where you live, work, play. It helps people who are visiting here understand what we're all about. So that's cool also, having them located in different places. So maybe an artist wanted a piece in a place where you just happen upon it. You can't see it when you're driving, but you go for a walk and all of a sudden there's a piece, and it's that experience, that excitement. It's just that extra spark that happens in the moment in your day.
Well, it's super important to express yourself all the time. Uh, but when you can use your work, your art, to say something in society more than just be a normal person, you probably believe you can do many things. But when you have this tool, you can connect with many different people, in the same way. So investigate and search and be prepared to do this work. You will be confront with the most hard realities you can living in real life. It's very interesting, it's just wake up another phase where nothing else can move if I don't leave that situation, right?
The public is they have an ownership of art. Everyone has opinions about art. Like my 3-year-old could do that is often something you might hear. But for me, professional artists, uh, they make this their career. This is not just their passion. This is not just something that they do as a creative outlet. It really is a passion. It really is. To me, the arts is an essential, along with housing, transportation, food, education, all those things. Arts and culture make us human and really make us a society that I want to create and live in.